Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the words of the people on the island, this bill has been a long time coming. Indeed, it would be rare to find anyone on the island who has voiced any opposition to the bill, which in itself makes a pretty good argument to support it.
Sorry to interrupt the member. Maybe if you move to another microphone, there's some feedback. Is that okay?
How's this?
We'll try that.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I've stopped the clock, so you're right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One of the local residents, Ngāti Kahungunu woman Gwen Neve, remembers debates around the proposal to initiate a levy for visitors to Rakiura when she was a member of the Southland District Council back in 1978, a debate which reared up again in the 80s. I think one of the dilemmas that confronts a community is how to express manaakitanga without exploiting or damaging the quality of their home around them. We're aware of the increasing number of visitors that are making their way to the island, and in fact when I was talking to my stepmother just a few minutes ago, she was saying that it was actually at Rakiura where she first tasted blue cod. She talked about putting the line over the side and picking up and getting 3 blue cod at the same time. It's just as well she learnt to like it because it was a staple diet once she got married to Dad. But she also spoke about being able to bring back kina from Rakiura that was the biggest that my father had ever seen, which must be a record actually, because he had seen a few. And she said that they only had to walk out knee deep to be able to get it. So she just loves Rakiura. She said it's the island of the gleaming sun, that it's pristine and beautiful there. And so we hope that it remains that way, but we hope that this levy will be one way that it can remain that way. On one hand, you have the busloads of manuhiri exploring Rakiura, which is great for the local economy and in particular the tourist industry, but the damage that day trippers can cause must also be taken into account. The toll that fluctuating populations make on the local infrastructure, the roading, sewerage, health services, volunteer services, the footpaths has got to be taken into account. So if we take just the area of roading, the unique island life brings with it a host of other implications. Local roading is a lot more difficult to maintain when all the heavy machinery that is required needs to be transported across from the mainland by barge. And we're talking about a village that is hit by power prices which are 4 times higher than across the strait. But I have to say again that it is disappointing to read the bill and to see no reference at all to mana whenua and their views on the levy. Under Section 313 of the Ngai Tahu Claims Settlement Act 1998, Te Runanga o Ngai Tahu articulates a special cultural, spiritual, historic and traditional association with Rakiura and Te Ara a Kiwi, otherwise known as the Pathway of Kiwa or Fovo Strait. In fact, Rakiura has an association to all tangata whenua in relationship to the succession of explorers and iwi who travelled around the coastline at various times. It is said that Maui, in order to keep his waka from drifting away, reached into the sea and pulled up a stone to be used as an anchor, which he named Te Puka or Te Waka a Maui, which was the original name for Rakiura or Stewart Island. For Ngai Tahu, traditions and histories such as these reinforce tribal identity and solidarity and continuity between generations. And so we would be very interested to know the views of the local families still on the island, or indeed of Te Runanga o Ngai Tahu on the significance of this levy. Another key source of knowledge about the value of this levy would come from Te Ao Marama. This is authorised to represent Te Runaka o Awarua, Hokanui Runanga, Oraka Aparima Runaka, Waihopai Runaka, who hold mana whenua over all ancestral lands in Murihiku. It has a formal memorandum of understanding with Environment Southland and Invercargill City Council, Gore and Southland District Councils. And so one would assume they would have particular interest in how this levy will be administered, how the funds gathered from the levy will be distributed, and for what purposes. Mr Speaker, we know that mana whenua on Rakiura are consulted about matters to do with conservation, with fishing and Māori land, and we hope that this consultation continues with the levy. And we cannot forget that the history of Ngai Tahu was as laid out in the Waitangi Tribunal was very drastic, but we can create a better future for them, and a treaty-based partnership would be a good step forward. Thank you.